Thank you for coming to my presentation on establishing a digital media lab. Here's my audience. Okay, we live in a digitally networked world with cell phones, laptops, and tablets. Via social media platforms, videos, and podcasts, we connect to each other and to our world like never before. This reality raises some important questions for libraries, like how do we stay relevant in this hyper-connected world? How can we help our patrons move across the digital landscape, choosing tools and platforms? And what about communities with a persistent digital divide? These are some of the questions behind establishing a digital media lab at the Avonlea Public Library. Rather than just collecting content and making resources available, our library can create opportunities for patrons to create their own content using our digital media lab. We have books about how to create a graphic novel, how to learn a musical instrument, and how to set up a small business. But why not take it one step further and provide the tools necessary for our patrons to design the artwork for that graphic novel, to record that song, and to launch that business? This is what a digital media lab can do. So what exactly is a digital media lab? Quite simply, it's a space designed for patrons to have access to hardware and software to create digital media. This includes videos, music, podcasts, photographs, graphics, animation, ebooks, websites, and more. Oops. Why is it necessary? The goal of the lab is to engage the community in internet-based collaborative learning using digital media. We want to create an inclusive environment for patrons to explore their interests while also developing 21st century skills like critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration. In addition, the Media Lab will provide resources to the community that many people could not afford or would not otherwise want to invest in for long-term use. How can we pull it off? Space, staff knowledge, and funding are obvious barriers to implementing a digital media lab, but we can still make it work with good planning, community partners, and exploring grant programs. We can always start small and continue to grow based on the needs of the community and the resources we're able to obtain. Setting up one digital media station is even better than none. Tools and equipment. We would definitely need to purchase some new equipment, but like I said before, we can start small and always add more. It may not be realistic to have all of these tools on opening day, but here's a breakdown of some useful equipment we can strive to obtain. For hardware, we might want a combination of Mac Pro desktops, iMac desktops, and MacBook Pro laptops. Some additional hardware we might want to invest in includes microphones, speakers, scanners, digital cameras, video cameras, and a digital converter. We also might want to eventually consider offering some of that hardware for overnight checkout, especially the cameras. Some software would be the iLife suite that has programs like iPhoto, iDVD, and GarageBand, Adobe Creative Suite with Flash, Photoshop, and SoundBooth, the Microsoft Office Suite, and Final Cut Studio. Staff training. We would want to work with our existing staff and have ample training opportunities. The Apple Store offers one-to-one tutorials. There's classes available at community colleges and technical training companies, and there's a variety of online resources as well, some of which are free, even on sites like YouTube and Learn for Life. We would also utilize resources from libraries who've already launched successful digital media labs. The Skokie Public Library and the Chicago Public Library both have very nice facilities, and they also blog about tips and resources and projects that they're working on. They're also big advocates for other libraries that want to launch a similar setup. Okay, project and program examples. Patrons can work on a variety of independent projects. For instance, they can record and preserve their oral histories. They can interview family members or scan slides and negatives from generations before. Small business owners can create brochures and videos to market their enterprises. Aspiring artists can edit photographs and graphic designs. Patrons can record music and podcasts or publish ebooks. And students can develop new talents or complete class projects. In addition, staff would offer a variety of programs and services in the lab, like self-paced learning programs for patrons getting to know some of the new software, collaborating with local filmmakers and artists, youth services programs, and maybe even a community film festival. The possibilities for empowering patrons to explore, discover, and create digital media are truly endless, and I hope you take into consideration my recommendation for establishing a digital media lab here at Avonlea. Maybe one day it could even look like this one in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Thank you for your time, and are there any questions?
Yes. What kinds of grants are available?
There's a lot of grant opportunities out there. In particular, there's one through the Institute for Museum and Library Services. It's called the Learning Labs in Libraries, and recipients can get up to $100,000 toward their projects. There's another good one through the MacArthur Foundation. It's the Digital Media and Learning Grant Program. There's really a lot out there, so good planning and research will be really important for us in obtaining funding, but the money is out there.
Great. I have a question. Why would the lab be Mac-based?
Oh, well, there's just a lot of great design software that is only available on the Mac operating system. Plus, it's still pretty prohibitive for many, if not most people, to purchase expensive Mac computers and their professional grade software, so we want to make that accessible to as many people as possible.
What would the opening day studio look like?
That kind of depends on funding, but ideally we would want at least 2 stations, one with video editing capabilities and one with music or recording capabilities, and then maybe some additional software like cameras and microphones and stuff like that. But depending on funding, we could have, in the example I showed you, they have 12 stations out in the open, and then also 12 soundproof studios where people can work quietly.
What equipment would we ideally have at the opening day?
Yeah, I kind of answered that. Just at least 2 stations, so 2 desktop computers, and then all the software needed to do the video editing and music or voice recording, and then microphones, cameras.
Right.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.